So yeah, fucking insane. It's pretty hard to do something like that, even for someone like me. And if I don't, if you, especially you got an extra hurdle if you're not having amazing HD equipment, 720p, 1020p, whatever. Because if you don't have HD equipment, they'll just see a link in the sidebar of somebody else who does. They'll just be like, you know what? I don't know this guy at all. I don't know if he's good. I don't know what he's gonna be doing. So fuck it. I'm gonna click on that link because at least that guy's got better video quality. I can see what he's doing a little bit better. So getting some new equipment should help out a little bit as far as viewer retention is concerned, which is great. I'd be happy to do so. Happy about that. Now I still have to, wow and impress people to keep them, but that's not my style. My style is simple. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep trucking. I'm persistent, and I never give up. That's my style. And also, I'm a nice guy. Very nice guy. And to say otherwise is probably slander, to be honest. But then again, it's your opinion. And I really don't give a damn. Actually, I do give a damn, to be honest. I would like to learn what people's opinions are. I'm just tired right now, so right now I don't give a damn. Now, come tomorrow, ask me the same thing, when I'm more awake, yeah. Then I'll probably give a damn. But not right now, because I'm tired. Yeah, tiredness. Do 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 do. Hey, Chicky. Have that. Kind of stuck there either way for a little while, so I think I'll give you some free. I'll at least give you some food. Dun, 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 dun. Nope, don't want to break my sword. Dun, dun. Yeah, this is. I really like this game. It's nice and calming and peaceful and blah 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 blah. I just enjoy taking a break, stepping back, taking a breather. Because I don't feel honestly like with a lot of the other games when you're playing a campaign or something, you kind of feel the pressure to focus on what's actually happening there. You don't want to. You don't want to interrupt something that's rather important part of the campaign or the game or something. Then again, you also, I'm still playing the game and I still want to enjoy what I'm doing, which is kind of it's kind of self defeating to do such a thing. To be honest, trying to enjoy a game while trying to trying to learn about it, it kind of ends up slowly fighting. Those kind of are fighting factors, contradicting factors that are just rather odd. That's one of the things I've noticed that's really odd as a commentator. Is I can't really say my thoughts 100% of the time on the game because trying to pay attention to the game because I try to pay attention to it all the time either way. It's a big thing for me. I always when I play a game, I'm not really playing the game itself, the storyline, whatever. What I'm playing is what I'm doing really is I'm exploring the world of the game. As cliche or stupid or odd as that does sound, that's what I do when I play games. I try to discover its world, not necessarily the game itself, because a million people, millions upon millions of people are playing the game. Millions upon millions of people are looking at it, playing the storyline. It's not a new experience, not a fresh experience. And to be fair, it's not like I'm not saying, oh no, oh no, the game is so awesome. The game is the important part. I mean, the game is so cliche. I am such a hipster, hipster. No, what I'm saying is what I find to be important in a game is, or what I find to be the most enjoyable part of a game is actually actually related to sorry, not the commentary. It's actually related to the world of the game. I always found that to be more intriguing personally, because when it comes to the world of a game, you're looking at the way the world. You kind of get to see how this situation arose, the intricacies of such a thing, or if the person who made the game is really fucking shitty at doing so. I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna die. I didn't. Awesome. If they're really shitty at doing so, like the lack of forethought that they put into the game, I find that to be the most interesting part. Honestly, is the world, because the game itself is just a particular telling within said world. It's kind of a simple exploration of the world. But when you try to discover the world, look at the world, and develop, and just figure out how the world works of that game, you can see more. You can see the game at a different level, which I've kind of been having a hard time transferring my personal views of that into my commentaries. I know this. I've noticed this constantly when playing the games, because I can do it at the end, because I got like a section there where it's just like, okay, neato. This is what I thought was cool about the game during the ending cutscenes and credits, because I'm like the only thing really to pay attention during that time. It's just my commentary, so I can kind of do it then. But I'd like to, and I can occasionally do it here and there during like certain parts of the game, but a lot of the time I can't do it during the game as a whole. And then most of the time when I'm recording stuff, I can't. I think about stuff afterwards. For instance, what game was I playing recently? I was playing fuck. It was BioShock, I think, right? Yeah, it was BioShock. BioShock Infinite. I've been noticing this. I was thinking about this recently after I beat BioShock 2, was that in BioShock Infinite, the game following afterwards, they kind of lose Adam. They got rid of Adam, and I couldn't figure out why. It didn't make sense to me. Because, they did it obviously in the game, as far as the game logic was concerned, because it didn't really compute well with their intent to be more of a first-person shooter kind of game instead of more. They're trying to becoming more of a first-person shooter than like their like the RPG category, because it's very hard, because there were softcore RPGs, what I like to call BioShock 1 and 2. Well, not softcore. I don't know what would be the proper term for it. A simple RPG, because it wasn't designed, like, you had choices you made throughout the game as the game progressed, but ultimately, it wasn't like a whole lot of depth put into the world. It was straightforward, on rails, kinda. So more like, I think on rails RPG sounds better, yeah. There wasn't like a whole lot of extreme exploration, going back and forth and exploring, the potential past and, other things, multiple options. It was just, okay, here is the one way of doing things. You can go do this way, or you can do this way. You can be good or bad. It was kind of a simple RPG, as I like to call them. It wasn't like asking complex questions. It wasn't having you go out there and do complex tasks. It was just get a gun, get whatever unique thing is related to this game, and then I only have a hat left, right? Prison Steve has a hat. Yay, I have a hat. Hat. I have a hat. Now, personally, I fucking hate hats, so... Geronimo, bon voyage! Go burn in hell! Join that creeper. You too, creeper. You go burn in hell, too. I don't like you. But yeah, it's kind of just a simple RPG. It's not like an extremely complex one, or side quest sandbox kind of thing like Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, the Elder Scrolls series, which actually probably in my opinion like one of the only real RPGs currently going, like normal straightforward RPGs. I find them to be probably the only. This is coming to pretty much be the only ones doing that kind of stuff. Cause think what else do they got? No, I won't. Let's see. Grand Theft Auto is a free roam third-person shooter, what I classify that as, with a little bit of an RPG aspect, because you do have multiple choices you can make throughout things. So I'd call that a mid-level RPG, to be honest. I wouldn't call that a high. I wouldn't call that like a high tier, which would, like I said, high tier example would be Skyrim. I think Skyrim, Fallout New Vegas are probably the full-on RPG, high tier kind of maxed out RPG, a pure RPG. I don't know what you want to call it that. Whereas GTA's got several different, like first GTA 4. I've only played GTA 4. I haven't played any of the other GTA games. On GTA 4, you can in GTA 4 you can fuck, what was I thinking? Oh, yes, in GTA 4 you can you have multiple side quests and stuff you can do along the way. That or you can pick different sides through as the game progresses. That's what I call a mid-level RPG, a mid-level RPG role-playing game, where you have multiple choices, but it's more or less still on rails. That's my classification for a mid-level RPG. What I consider to be a high-level RPG is where there's also a ton of side content that is completely irrelevant to the story, but ultimately does help to examine and explain further of the world. Basically the difference between the two, in my opinion, is the depth of the world, primarily, and your exploration into it. That's the big difference, in my opinion, between RPG and well, depending on the varying degrees of an RPG is what I classify that as. Is the depth of exploration into the world, and your choices that you make within it. That's what I classify as my sliding scale of RPG. Now, a lot of things can be classified as an RPG. For instance, Singularity can be classified as an RPG, even though that was definitely just a straightforward shooter 99.9% of the time. But ultimately, at the very end, you got a choice. You got to make some choices. So that would be what I call a low level or a minimum level RPG, where your character has a minimal, where your character's choices throughout the game are very minimal. In fact, in my opinion, Call of Duty Black Ops, one of the most recent ones, Black Ops 2, I mean, actually is actually a decently high level RPG. As strange as that may sound, I actually consider that to be a mid level RPG, because of three simple reasons. Number one, as the game progresses, the choices you make, both the turns and the whether or not you shoot somebody, whether you do or do not shoot somebody, and so on, actually have an effect on the story. Now, granted, if the effect was more significant at the very end, then I would probably actually, I also think I'm stretching the mid-level a tiny bit, because the effect of the end is still very variable. It's pretty much under a certain set of endings. It's like I think there's about like half a dozen endings possible, but still, if you compare that to Far Cry 3, the level of ending options there, that's 6 versus 2. You only get 2 endings in Far Cry 3. So in my opinion, it's a whole lot more endings, and it's for multiple different reasons. The 3 biggest being, number one, the roads and moves that your guy makes. In other words, if you decide, okay, I'm gonna go left around this way, or if I'm gonna go right around this way, that's one decision factor, because you can find certain stuff if you go one way, and you find other stuff if you go the other way. Sometimes. Another issue is that you find while exploring the game, you'll find information, intel, or other things that are related to the main story. For instance, there is a mission, and I know this isn't going to be a big spoiler because it's not a big deal, where you go back and you go through what's his fucking name's compound? The dude with the busted up eye. You go through one of his compounds in the past, okay? And well, there you have where you can go under the tunnel, into a tunnel basically with woods, and you can find intel if you're quick enough. If you're not quick enough, then the intel burns and you don't find it, and that would give you more information later on, if you would have found that intel. But if you don't, then you don't, and it doesn't give you as much information. Now, granted, it's not insane because it's still a player choice information. In that case, it's if you would have known it existed either way, you can make calls and stuff either way. Without that information, it's not necessary, but it helps. On top of that, later also there's a part where you're pretty much required to take a shot at a guy. If you successfully take the shot, and you kill the guy properly, then you get a particular. Then you gain you pretty much save a particular character. But if you miss the shot, then the character gets captured. So your skill as well is played as a factor, which also, in my opinion, is an exploration, a part of the RPG tier that a lot of games are forgetting now, is skill. Now they have skill to some degree. For instance, in